don't need you to tell me how fucking good my coffee is, okay? I'm the one who buys it. I know how good it is. I buy the gourmet expensive stuff because when I drink it, I want to taste it. But you know what's on my mind right now? It ain't the coffee in my kitchen. It's the Nice Guys on Business podcast. Need an education on how to grow your business? The Nice Guys are here to help. Learn about great customer service, networking, and how just being nice can help you prosper. Now, here are your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner.
Hey, everybody. We're going to be talking about jumpsuits. They can be any size, any color. Long sleeve or short sleeve. It's all about the sweet jumpsuits. Yeah. It's kind of like pants and the shirt all built into one. Doug's laughing so hard he can't even play the fucking guitar anymore. And I have no idea what I'm going to say because I had a rhyme in mind, but then it got all screwed up because Doug stopped playing the guitar, and I had to say Doug screwed up because he can't play the fucking guitar because he's laughing too hard, and I don't know where we're going at all now.
It's like our show.
So once again, we're completely off the rails. But that's okay, because they make jumpsuits that have got straps on the side so you can be like a car driver to go off the rails really fast. Because that's what happens when you're wearing a jumpsuit. You're going to go really fast.
Big finish.
Check out sweetjumpsuits.com and start a new fashion trend. So you don't have to buy your pants and your shirts separate, and they're going to match all the time, every single time you put them on. Sweet jumpsuits. Ending. Hey, welcome back. Nice Guy community. If you are a first-time listener, you're probably a last-time listener and you have not even made it this far.
That is about which take did you take? The first one or like the 12th one? That's good. Hey, sweetjumpsuit.com. That was all for you, baby.
That was our sponsor. That was our pre-roll, sweetjumpsuit.com. And of course,
wait a minute. Did you hear that sound? That was the sound of their check bouncing. They just took out all of the money that went into that account.
Yeah. Anyway, sweetjumpsuits.com.
What's going on?
Sweetjumpsuits.com is going on, but hey, that was, I don't know. Our blues are getting worse. I don't know that I need to be prepared for these things a little more ahead of time, I think, but it's all good.
When you think about the words that you're going to use, do you actually write down anything, or do you just go?
No, I just go. I probably should change that. And like sometimes I'll like think about, okay, do I want to make? I got to make the last word. I got to remember it so I can try and rhyme it. But I haven't done very well with that lately. I
think you're perfect. I wouldn't change anything about you, Strickland.
Thanks, Doug. I appreciate that.
Love you just the way you are. Billy Joe would say.
So, Nice Guy community, if you all listened yesterday, you noticed that we hit very few topics. We're going to try and hit more topics today. And one of them that is not even on the list, of course, Doug sent me a list of 27 topics. And we actually hit one of them yesterday.
Yeah, we did. We hit one.
Which one did we hit?
I don't remember.
I'm going to highlight it so we don't hit it again. We did not get to waterless toilets or Bitly. We'll get to that. To Kmart. Why Kmart should be out of business.
Oh, yeah.
If you're wondering why Kmart should be out of business, listen to yesterday's show. That'd be episode 214. But we're not going to go back to that because we done did that already. That was yesterday.
Done did that. Wait a minute. I heard that in a movie once.
Done did that already. Hey, let's go to the top of the list because I like the
Wait, before we jump into the topics, can we just hit the promise statement and talk to everybody about the Mastermind group just really quick, Strick?
Oh, yeah, good call. Uh-huh.
All right, so let me deliver the nice guy promise statement, and then you come back and tell us a little bit about the Mastermind group that we now have a date for, and we're not quite ready to, because we have not gotten our keynote speakers to sign on the dotted line 100% yet. We just know that we have 2 so far committed to it, 2 amazing speakers. But anyway, here's the Nice Guys on Business promise statement. Nice Guy community, our goal is to provide the most entertaining podcast experience ever, period. Hold us to that standard. If we don't, in your opinion, reach that standard, please reach out to us. Let us know what you think and where we can improve. My handle on Twitter at DJ Doug. That's probably the best way to reach me. That guy over there, Strickland, he is at Nice Guy on Biz with a Z. Nice Guy on Biz with a Z. Take a moment. If you have not yet reviewed the show, click on the show art, the cover art that's right there on your little phone. Because I know that if you're listening on an iPhone, you're probably listening to Overcast, because for some reason we have not gotten it through to you that we would love you to just tune in just for a moment over on iTunes. But if you are listening on Overcast, just click on the cover art and hit the little recommend button. Allow us to stay number 3. We did hit number 2 for a while, but I think that's just because my mom just got a device and she fouled it up somehow and recommended us 4,000.
Are we back off of the list?
No, we're not off of the list. Overcast? We're in the middle of the most recommended list, which is great because that means we're in the top 20. We are in the top 3 for business. We're right behind Tim Ferriss and NPR's. I think it's Fresh Air or something like that.
Oh, okay, but we're still number 3 then. That's good. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're still number 3. We're all good. There has been a whole bunch of shows that have come and gone, but none of them have surpassed our number 3, and hopefully we'll be able to rank on iTunes at some point. Right now, we have about 30,000 downloads a month. We'll probably have a little bit more than that this month, which is great. We appreciate that. But I think about 7 of those did, not 7,000, actually just 7 downloads from iTunes. People, we need your help.
Crazy.
Don't make us beg. Please just go over to iTunes.
No, don't make us beg any more than we are already.
Than we already are.
Yeah.
All right, Strick, tell us a little bit about the Mastermind group that's coming up.
Mastermind group is going to be November 7th through the 9th right here in Baltimore, Maryland. And it is going to be kind of incredible. It's limited to only 10 people. It is only going to be 10 people because we want to have a nice, intimate group of masterminds. We can't talk too much more specifically about it yet because we're trying to sign people up. In other words, we're trying to sign up our speakers. We're trying to lock them in. But
we can kind of give them an idea of what's on the schedule so far, though. I mean, not names, but kind of tell them what we like the whole karaoke thing and everything.
We've got a couple of speakers who are tentatively signed up, and we will get into the specifics as soon as we lock them in. But the bottom line is we're going to have a whole bunch of speakers talking about business. And the idea of the Mastermind group is we're going to have 10 people, including you, hopefully, that are going to get together in a group and basically talk business. And it's going to give you an opportunity to say what is good about your business, what is bad about your business, anything that you're struggling with, and we're going to discuss it. So if there's a part of your business you're struggling with, maybe you have trouble with social media, or maybe you can't figure out how to get more customers in, or whatever it may be, you can basically talk about the problems, and then everybody else in the group is going to chime in on how they think they could help. And what's great about this is it's going to be all different industries, all different experience levels. It's going to be all entrepreneurs and small business owners and those type of people that have been there and done that, and probably in a different industry that you're in.
And it'll probably be like helping you do things like, minor stuff like how to make more money, doing what you do, how to market, a little bit of social media marketing, how to master social media, how to write a best-selling book if a book thing is just all sorts of stuff that if you need help with it, you bring your problems to the table, and the Mastermind group is going to help you work out these issues. It will be a valuable time spent together with us. And the karaoke.
Yeah, exactly. And as you may know from listening to our podcast, if you listen, we never stay all that serious on the topic of business. And our conference is going to be the same way. This Mastermind group is going to be also on top of the group discussions, karaoke and cocktails and dinner in the evening. So it's definitely going to be a lot of fun. It is going to be in Baltimore. If you are interested in going, we only have 10 slots available. We are limiting it to only 10 people. And we believe 2 of them are locked up already with a couple of our speakers. And that's the other cool thing is the speakers are going to be part of the group. It's not like somebody comes in and talks for 45 minutes and disappears. You're going to hear their presentation, and then you can actually pick their brain about it, which is going to be really cool.
Can I mention, without mentioning mentioning any names, one of the people that we have on the potential roster for speaking, this person charges thousands of dollars for their services. They're providing that free of charge to the Mastermind group because they know the value that the Mastermind group is going to provide, not only their business and amplifying their message out even further, but they're good and they like the community and they like the nice guys. So this is, if nothing else, if you just listen to one person and hear what that person has to say, you're going to walk away with value. We will announce the names within the next couple of weeks. We want to make sure, though, that we have some interest expressed from the audience, from the nice guy community.
November 7th through the 9th are the dates. It is going to be in Baltimore, Maryland. And let us know if you're interested because we definitely would love to send you info as we get it. Limited to only 10 people. It's going to be our inaugural one. It's going to be really exciting and fun. So now, what are we going to move on to, Doug?
Do you want to move on to the topics?
The topics?
I went to this conference last week in Baltimore, the Maryland Food Bank, which is a very, very good organization to be a part of. I'm helping them. I help them with a lot of their production and a lot of the meetings that they put together because they are local to me. And I noticed at the Marriott where we had the meeting, they had waterless toilets. And
okay.
So I'm not a real big, I don't really understand plumbing to begin with, but I don't really, are you familiar with a waterless toilet?
I've heard of them, but I don't know exactly how they work.
I don't know how they work either. So I started looking up a whole bunch of information about waterless toilets.
Okay.
I don't think I like the idea of a waterless toilet.
Well, how does it exactly work? I mean, how is it going to be sanitized without water? Okay.
So the way that I think that it works is that when you pee into a waterless toilet, and I think it only works for guys. I don't think there's not like waterless Johns, are there?
I don't know. You tell me.
I don't know. The only ones that I've seen in the men's room, since I haven't really gone into the ladies' rooms recently, the only ones I've seen have been like the urinals. So you pee into the urinal and the liquid, the liquid goes down the drain and it goes into a trap.
Okay.
And the trap has something like oil in it. So the pee goes to underneath it. It's heavier than the oil. So the oil stays on top. The pee goes underneath it and it stops any kind of odor from coming out.
Okay. Interesting.
So interesting. So they do need to have all sorts of upkeep because you have to be able to get the I don't know how you flush it. So you actually still have to run either water down it, which kind of defeats the purpose of a waterless toilet to begin with.
Well, it could be like a low water toilet, which, instead of a gallon of water a flush, maybe it's only a quart or less. I can understand that. That'd be okay.
But the idea of it saves you water, but the expense to the facility is sometimes higher. If there's any experts in the waterless toilet world out there, could you chime in and tell us exactly how a waterless toilet works? It sounds like there's a couple of different ways that you can go with a waterless toilet, but I still don't love the idea, not because it saves water. I mean, I love the idea of it saving water and that's great, but it sounds like you're putting some other chemical into the water system.
It is interesting because you think about the cost versus benefit and people try to come up with things that are going to be good for the environment and recycling, right? So let's say you get recycled paper, right? Now, I know there are a number of processes with different recycled paper where they've got to take it and they chew it up and chop it up and throw all kinds of water and sanitize it and bleach it. And then they make it back again. And so you think, oh, hey, this is all recycled paper. But the effort that went into creating it is sometimes more, either financially or with other resources like paper and bleach and other things that could harm the environment than if you were to just cut a tree down and do new paper sometimes. You got to think about the whole process.
I'm reading about this one. It says there's a model. The model costs anywhere from $370 to $600 for the actual toilet itself. And then you have to replace the trap every 3 months to 7,000 flushes, which costs more money.
How much more?
I think it says $40. They sell a plastic basin whose pipe plugs into the wall plane. It sounds like it's like a $40 trap
that you need to do every 3 months, right?
I don't know 100% exactly where the cost associated with this is. They use traps instead, but put the water and oil into a drain pipe. But trap or or none, you periodically clean the urinal by pouring gallons of water down the drain and replacing the proprietary oil, which is neither cheap nor entirely waterless. Yeah, it's waterless for the consumer. I don't know. I'm really interested.
It's a scam, basically.
I don't know if it's a scam, but I can tell you, I wasn't 100% comfortable. It still did have an odor that men's bathrooms just stink to begin with.
Well, it's interesting. Again, to kind of get off side topic of what I was talking about, like with paper, right? Again, you think, oh yeah, it's better for the environment. These paper companies, there's so many restrictions on it now, right? So any company that cuts down trees, whether it's to make wood or furniture or paper or whatever, I believe there are requirements of how many trees they have to replant. Like, for example, if you cut down a tree, like you have to replant 5 or something. I don't know exactly how it works, but these regulations obviously are being created so we don't run out of trees. And it's like, okay, well, maybe that's actually smarter and better than recycling and putting all this, bleach and extra water and extra crap into the environment.
Oh, so you're saying take a company that's just processing paper the way they normally would and just say, okay, guys, you can continue processing, but for every tree that you cut down, you have to replace them with 5 more.
And I believe there are these types of regulations in place already.
Yeah, no, that's good.
In other words, when people say like, hey, I'm buying recycled paper, you may be actually doing worse for the environment by buying recycled paper or worse for the environment by using a waterless toilet than
and I may have told you this before. I think that when the company that comes and picks up my recycling, I don't feel real comfortable that they are recycling the way recycling should be.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because they have me separated out into 2 separate areas when I, in order to collect the paper and the glass, I have to have them in 2 separate containers, 1 paper and 1 glass container.
Okay.
When they come and pick it up, they still put it in the same. I don't understand how this works. They put it. Why are you telling me I need to separate it out? They're putting it in the same truck, and it does not look like there is a little division thing in the truck. Well, I don't know. I don't know.
It's interesting too. They like the casinos, right? I think this was big about a year ago. They said, don't worry about recycling. We do it for you. Okay. So obviously what they're pushing is that, hey, if you don't see recycle bins, it's okay. We are actually recycling. We're doing good things for the environment. Right. And I happened to have a room one time where I saw
overlooking the dumpsters.
No, seriously. I mean, this is really funny because they said we separate it. And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck, right? Like they have somebody that goes through all the goddamn garbage.
Okay.
They do. They have somebody that goes through. Like they had 2 people that really were out in the back. And I don't know how I had a room that looked over this, but really
only the finest for your team.
I see this conveyor belt of trash and there are 2 guys like separating out and I'm like, okay, they're really telling the truth. It's very
all right. So really what it comes down to, it's not what you do, but it's how you market what you do. And that actually is one of the topics that I had on my list, because one of the things that's very interesting to me is, you could silently do all of this stuff. You could have recycling and you could just kind of like do it behind the scenes and not tell anybody about it and just do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. But isn't it all about perception and how you are seen by the market that you deal with? Like,
I mean, that's everything, right? And that's really what it gets down to. Hey, we're actually talking a business topic here. This is good. Perception is everything. Perception is reality, and, when you think about Kmart, when you think about Sprint, when you think about Comcast, right? They could make a decision to change their customer service tomorrow. They could throw it all out and do great things tomorrow, but it's going to take a long time to turn the perception of that around.
Yeah, but why don't companies like Comcast and Sprint and Kmart, we've added that third, the Kmart, onto the list after yesterday's show. Why don't they make an approach or an attempt to write? I know you can't possibly think, not you as in you, but you as in the universal you, maybe you as in Kmart. They can't possibly think that what they are doing is good for their customers.
It's all cost versus benefit. I mean, they don't believe that it's worth making the investment into keeping customers happy. They think, hey, these customers are coming here anyway because they got no place else to go.
I just hate that idea. And in the same little area where my local Kmart is, there's a Panera, and I get the exact opposite feeling when I go into Panera that I do when I go into Kmart. They actually in the one Panera that I go to, not the one that's right by the Kmart, but the actual Panera that I go to, they know my name.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's not like I've been to Kmart as often as I've been to Panera to eat lunch, but I probably spend, I don't know, somewhere in the area of probably $150 to $200 a month in Panera.
Wow, that's a lot.
They know my name. And they know what I order, and they are like, "Do you want the turkey avocado BLT again, Doug?" Like, sure, I'll have that. Thanks.
Nice.
I'll have the you pick two, please. It's just that it's not just the people know my name, and that's always great when somebody does remember your name, but it's just their attitude and their approach and the way that they handle their customers when they're a Panera. They actually respect their customers.
So, Doug, your Panera that you normally go to, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many other eating establishments are there, like, let's say in the same area, same shopping center, very close by?
Oh my gosh, dozens.
And how many of the other ones do you go to on any regular basis?
I pretty much don't go to many on a regular basis. Panera is the regular go-to place for me.
And it's probably not because you've had bad experiences or because their food is bad. It's because Panera has made you so important that you don't even think about going somewhere else, right?
No, as a matter of
consider
fact,
it.
no, I don't consider it. Panera, if I would go somewhere else if I had to.
Right. If Panera was closed.
Yeah, if Panera was closed, I would, maybe there's a day that I'm like feeling in a Qdoba mood or something like that. But I don't know. There's something I don't love. I had a really challenging time when Qdoba had the no, what was it? What do they call it? Was it carnitas? Is that what pork is? Carnitas?
Oh, you mean when not Qdoba, when Chipotle.
Chipotle, sorry. Yeah, I didn't mean Qdoba, I meant Chipotle. When Chipotle had that whole
when they didn't have the pork carnitas because people were getting sick.
Right. They didn't carry it for a good reason because people were either not getting sick, or I think it actually was because maybe it was the sickness factor. I don't know that to be 100%.
They were being overly cautious. In other words, they didn't have to stop doing it, but a number of people were getting sick in a number of different places, and they said, you know what, we'd rather be safe than sorry.
I didn't think it was about people getting sick. I thought it was actually because they didn't approve of the way that the animal was handled at the farm where the animal was raised.
I don't know. Maybe you may be right. I may be
okay. So anyway, what I didn't like about the whole Chipotle experience was that it was just that they assumed that us as customers knew that, and they didn't really go out of their way to make it a big deal for their customers. They didn't offer any other choices. It was just there was a sign up on the door, sorry, no carnitas today. It wasn't like it really, and I like Chipotle. I just feel like I feel more at home when I'm at Panera. I don't know why. It's not like the food is good. It's not like it's, oh my gosh, this is the best food in the entire world and it's a great value. I still spend probably twice as much as I would if I went to a fast food restaurant.
No, I totally agree.
I just like the entire experience that I get when I go into Panera. And now that I've gone there so many times, I feel even better that's the approach that they take.
They have created a fan in you, and that's what it's all about, really. I mean, that's the way to get customers, keep customers, and that is the customer service lesson of the day, right?
Well, before we get off the customer service experience, I want to just tell you about one other experience that I had with my eBay account.
Okay.
So I looked at my email. This is probably going back about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I look at my email and I noticed there was probably 5 or 6 emails from eBay, and the 5 or 6 were confirming orders that I had placed, actually from orders that I had not placed. And I jump on eBay and I'm like, holy crap, somebody bought like a TV set and an iMac and memory and sneakers and a whole bunch of stuff, and they were all shipping them to this address in Delaware that I had no idea what it was. Somebody had actually lifted my my username and passcode to eBay.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. So the first thing I do after I get in touch with eBay through email is I called them also, and I went through the entire experience with eBay over the phone. And they said, "Hey, just to be on the safe side, we've noted that you did not make these purchases, but what you may want to do is you may want to call PayPal also." So they gave me the number for PayPal. I reached out to PayPal,
even though eBay owns PayPal.
Yeah, I think it must be two separate departments within their organization. So anyway, so they connect me. They probably have two whole different structures running because they were separate companies at one point.
I'm sure they do. It's just funny. They're like, hey, you may want to call PayPal too. I'm thinking to myself, you can't just fucking forward me to PayPal. You guys are all under the same company, right?
They gave me the 800 number to PayPal.
Okay.
And PayPal said your account has not been your PayPal account has not been breached. So you may just want to reach out to American Express if you're seeing these charges on your American Express. See, on my American Express bill, because after I went to eBay, I started looking at the rest of my accounts that were tied into my eBay account.
Sure.
And I discovered that my American Express bill had been charged an extra $1,980.
Yeah.
So I call American Express, and you know how I feel about American Express. When I get them on the phone, they are super, super customer focused. And they're like, no problem. We'll put this into dispute immediately. We're going to overnight you a card. Are you traveling in the next couple of days? If you are, we'll overnight the card so that you have it. I think it was a Friday that this whole thing went down. So they overnighted me a card because I was going to New York on Monday and to arrive on Saturday morning. Mm-hmm. So I went through the whole process with American Express. They couldn't have been any more helpful. And so eBay said they were going to contact all of the sellers of that stuff so that the stuff didn't ship. Right. And then I'm starting to get confirmations in a couple of days after that all of the stuff had still shipped.
Right.
I'm like, oh no, this is going to be bad.
Mm-hmm.
American Express stood behind it though. They told me, no worries, don't worry about it. We're going to credit you the $1,980. You're not going to see that. PayPal they weren't involved at all. And eBay, I don't know who loses that in that entire process.
Yeah, American Express loses ultimately because that's a good question. I don't know because they ultimately approved the charge, I think. But it's interesting.
But what it came down to was American Express doing a great job. PayPal, they were fine. I mean, they didn't really have any involvement in this. And eBay, I don't know why eBay. We gave them literally the day that the orders were placed. eBay, I notified eBay, and they easily could have notified all the places, and I think they did. But still, every place. I think there was 9 orders that were made that day. All 9 of them, I got confirmations that all 9 had shipped.
That's weird.
Yeah, that was really weird, but whatever. So the process happened, and the whole it was just a very good example of crisis management in customer service related environment, and all 3 of them, with the exception of that email going out, all 3, eBay, American Express, and PayPal, did exactly what they should have done. I can only imagine if Kmart were involved. What would have happened? Yeah, here's the trio of ugliness. It would have been if Kmart, Comcast, and Sprint were involved in the transaction. Yeah, that wouldn't have been good.
That would have been bad.
Anyway, so from a customer service perspective, I just thought that was interesting that they all did such a great job.
It is. It's all good. It's all good. So I want to get to the next thing on your list, or the one previous.
Yeah.
Networking and the continuing saga of people being unresponsive. My experience with 50 books vanishing. I want to hear about 50 books vanishing.
Okay. So I've gone to a number of networking meetings over the last couple of years. More specifically, or more recently, I went to the C-Suite Network up in New York, which was great. A very, very good experience. I felt great going to this. Did a book signing, and as a part of the book signing, I guess the responsibility, my responsibility was to bring somewhere between 50 and 100 books. Okay. And I'm going to give them away. I'm going to give them away to people that are potentially interested in hiring me, or potentially interested in using my services, or people that are execs within organizations that have the decision-making capacity to bring me in. Now, what was this, about a couple of weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago that I did this?
Mm-hmm.
So I go up there, I do my book signing. I take everybody's card that took a book, because I thought it was responsible of me to, I want to do networking the proper way. I'm not just going to give my book out and not have a way to connect with these people. I've reached out to all of them, every one of them. Only one person has called me back. I just think it's really interesting. The continuing saga, the thing I put in the category was networking and the continuing saga of people being unresponsive. At the time, they all were very interested. I mean, they all were great people. They were really nice, and they weren't nice just to get my book. It's just that why do people do something like they took something of value of mine, which was my book. They spent my time having a conversation with me. Why is it that people, and not just in this particular category, because I'm certainly not going to blame this on C-suite or anything like that. It's just how people are in today's world. Why are people so lax with getting back to people?
I made a comment to you before we started the show when we were talking about the Mastermind, because Doug sent out a survey to a select number of our more active listeners to say, hey, we're thinking about doing this. Here are some possible dates. Can you let me know what what dates you might be available? So we could try and work it around some good dates, right?
Right.
And Doug said, hey, look, we got this many people. They're interested for these dates. And I said, yeah, did you tell them, have they agreed to pay yet?
Oh, you mean, right. Oh, so you got to continue that though. It's not just we want you to attend, but this is not something this isn't a freebie. This is something that we're not making any money from this.
Right. We're not.
But we don't want it to cost us money.
Right, exactly. We're not going to pay for you to go out to dinner and do this, but we're not going to be making any profit on it either. But I guess the point I was getting to was, when you got a marketing product, if you go out on the street and ask people what they think of a product, sure, they're going to give you an opinion until you say, hey, and they may give you a positive opinion until you say, oh, hey, I happen to have one here. Would you like to buy it? It's a whole different story. And Doug, I think that's what you've experienced. People love your story. They love your product. And obviously your product is you. But when you get to the point to say, oh, hey, I happen to have one of my product right here, then when they've got to actually write a check, it changes things.
Yeah, but let me add this to what you're saying, though. I'm not even saying to the people that I'm following up, I would like to come out and talk to your organization. All I'm saying is, can we continue the conversation? I am quite fine with somebody not hiring me if we get down to the point where they actually know what I'm all about and they say, it's just not a fit for our organization. Totally cool. I'm okay with that. What I don't like is when somebody takes something of value of yours. They know they know that you've provided them some value. It wasn't a right of them to have one of my books. It was a privilege. I gave them, I could have given out 400 books, but I was saving them for the conversations that we were having. So I've collected these 50 cards. I've talked to these 50 people. I've talked to 400 people. I talked to 50 people that I thought I would be able to provide some value. I didn't say, okay, are you ready to book this thing yet? All I'm trying to do is follow up and say, let's continue the conversation. And I think that today, more so than ever, people are so bombarded with, I don't know, how do you cut through all of that? And how do you get around that so people will actually pay attention to you? I don't know. I'm up for a solution to this. I don't even know what the solution is.
That's such a tough one, specifically with your industry and what you do, because these people, let's say they're C-suite people, right? So these are all executives and they deal with a lot of this stuff. And obviously just at that one specific conference, they talk to possibly 11 authors, 11 speakers, right?
Yeah,
people are talking.
Right.
And, I'm sure in their mind, first of all, they don't really have time, if they're not interested, whatever. But they get hit with this stuff all the time. Anybody that goes to conferences, anybody that's been to any conference, when you go peruse the show floor, oh my God, you just get so much stuff.
Yeah, but Strick, why can't somebody that you've sent an email to just respond to the email and say, got your email, sorry, right now, not a good time, not interested. If they would do that, I would feel at least, okay, they got my email. The fact that they don't respond to my email, it pisses me off because I'm like, I just made the trek to New York to do this. Now, the idea behind it, yes, I agree. If I get one speech, one positive result, yes, it completely made the trip worthwhile. And I will. And over time, I will. I just don't understand the lack of response. Part of this program I have called the Nice Guy 30. One of the things that I get into is respond to every email that you get. Unless it's unless it's a spam, just hit me back and just say, not interested right now. Can we pick up the ball in maybe a month or maybe 2 months? Or how about let's just never pick up the ball because I'm not interested because Sandler, you suck. I would take any of that. any of that. I wouldn't argue with that. Maybe I do suck to them.
This is where I think it's interesting, different perspectives. Because Doug, you have been your own boss okay, let's put it this way. You've been your own boss since email existed, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
And there are emails that I get at work, and anybody that's a small business owner or goes to conferences at all, I'm sure you get a lot of these, where I just don't get around to unsubscribing. Or if I have spoken to a salesperson at some point and they're like bugging me, it's like, you just get numb to it. There are just so many. And Doug, so you live in this ideal world where absolutely, if you are a business owner and somebody's reaching out to you, that's the way to win, is to get back to them.
I put my hand in their hand and I said, hello. I looked them in the eye. We had a pleasant conversation. I handed them a book. This is not a fucking email spam. This is not, it's not like I'm calling them unsolicited. I'm responding to a meeting. I got on a fucking bus and went to New York. They flew from San Francisco, from Ohio, from Cleveland, from wherever they came, from Des Moines, why am I doing all these Ohio places in Iowa? They came from Texas. Give me the respect to just say not interested, or interested down the road, not right now.
Yeah, they don't look at you as a person that they actually shook hands with. They look at you as just this other widget.
I get it.
It's tough. Again, I'm not excusing the
No. And
behavior.
I'm not even saying there's going to be a solution today. It's more of the conversation starter, because I can promise you that Nice Guy community, you guys have had this experience also. And just so you know, there are people, even a guy like me who has been in business for 30 years, that get frustrated by it, because I still am amazed that people will not return my, I return every phone call. I return every email. If you've sent me an email and I did not respond, let me tell you something. I didn't get your email. Because I promise you, I respond to every email I get. I just think that that's the right thing to do. And Strick, I'm real sorry that you're numb by it. And like I said, mentioned to everybody that has an email issue at their office, I would love to resolve every email issue. And when you climb that corporate ladder to the guy that actually has nothing in his inbox, that's where the problem starts.
So, Nice Guy community, instead of like me trying to tell Doug, hey, I'm sorry you don't live in the real world and this shit happens, the better approach is, what is the solution? Does anybody have any ideas? And by the way, I don't see a solution from, let's say, the executive's end, right? I see the solution coming from the business end. In other words, you, Doug, as a business owner, what can you do to make them respond or make them notice? And I am dying to hear from our community what ideas they may have to say, hey, look, help Doug out, right? What could Doug do in this specific situation to actually get a response from those people? What is he doing wrong? What could he do differently? I would love to hear some feedback on that. Call 4242 DJ Doug, because it's got dust on the machine right now, right?
I don't even know if there is a machine there.
No.
But at DJ Doug is my Twitter handle, at Nice Guy on Business, that guy, Strick. Any of us, either one of us on Twitter would be great, or Doug at DougSandler.com. I believe me, I will respond to you if you send me an email, or just send up a smoke signal. I promise you. I know. We would
love to hear some ideas on this. I really would be excited about it.
I know our show is running a little bit long today. I just want to tell you real quick. About a week ago, I was hanging out with my son, and I noticed that he kept having these beeps on his phone, not like a text beep. And I said, "What are you doing?" He says, "I'm learning Morse code." I'm like, "What?
What? Who's learning Morse code?"
My son, Adam. He just is funny. He's a funny guy that way. He was. I don't know. He was like 8 letters into the alphabet, and he's like, "This is a really cool thing, Morse code."
Wow. Okay.
Anyway, I think we're out of time. Tomorrow's episode, I want to spend a little bit of time talking about lead pages and sales funnels and some other cool stuff. And I discovered this old service. I know they've been around a long time, but called Bitly, and how cool it is. So I want to talk a little bit about that, and a whole bunch of other stuff too. Oh, and this really cool new scheduling program that we're using for the Nice Guys podcast too.
Okay, then, Nice Guys, tune in tomorrow and hear about all that. Steve O'Brien.
And Evil Knievel.
Steve O'Brien, take us out of here.
For the Nice Guys on Business, I'm Steve O'Brien. Well, that's 20 minutes of my life I'll never get back. Oh, is it still on?